On episode 49 of the podcast, I'm going to talk about streaming disasters, toe starting, and a hot political take. That one might be spicy. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Luke Who's Talking podcast. With me, Luke. How you doing? How you going out there? How are you? We're in interesting times. However, there have been worse times, I am sure, in the existence of the world. So let's move on. So as some of you may know, I have started doing a little bit of streaming. So I've got a little bit of a rotation. So I like to. This is the plan. This is the streaming plan. Wednesday is either American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator. They rotate. And then on the weekend, so either Saturday or Sunday, it's City Skylines or Farming Simulator. So in the rotation, this weekend's going to be Farming Simulator. Anyway, but this story pertains what happened last Wednesday when I was playing American Truck Simulator. So I was there, trucks, and we did the first delivery. We did a delivery, and as I was going back to the menu of the game, it froze up. My initial thought was the mouse the battery had gone flat, because I was like, the mouse is gone. So I changed the battery, nothing. I got my spare mouse here. I tried to use that. Nothing happened. And I couldn't even Alt-Tab out of the game. So I was just like, I don't know what to do. So anyway, luckily I use Streamlabs OBS and they have a companion app. So I decided to use, I use that now because I can see the chat and things on it. It controls slides and whatever on the app. So I use that. And so I was able to end the stream on the app. And then what I had to do was restart the computer. Well, maybe I didn't have to restart the computer, but I decided to restart the computer. So I thought, I'll restart the computer. And because I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't Alt-Tab out of the game. So it was causing me some headaches. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll just restart the computer. So I did that. I restarted the computer. So, I didn't stream anymore after that. I ended the stream, but it was my first stream disaster. I'm going to dub it my first streaming disaster. So I'm glad I've had one. And also, to put a little bit more mayonnaise on it, the previous weekend I had played Farming Simulator. Now, for some reason, when I launched a game and have a look in my OBS, Farming Simulator doesn't fill up the screen, as it were. So I had to stretch it so it would fill the screen. So people who watch can see it full screen. It doesn't do that for some reason. So I had to stretch it. Anyway, but when I got playing American Truck, the screen stayed stretched. I didn't realise that, and I didn't fit it back. So you're seeing half the screen as well. So, yeah, my first official streaming disaster. But you live and learn. So it's okay. I've done a couple more streams since then, only 2. I just wrapped up Euro Truck, and there was no disaster, which was good. No streaming disaster. But let me just say, though, in the realm of streaming, it is a tough time starting out. Because if they're playing a game, you're talking, but in my case, I'm talking to no one, or maybe a person. So it's a bit, it is what it is. But yeah, something different, something interesting for me to do. Anyway, let's get into the next story. Right, so now when was it? I believe it was Monday. It was this week. It was Monday, I'm pretty sure. I went out to my brother's place because he had to deliver a load of firewood somewhere. He had to deliver some wood to somebody. And his ute has been out of action for a little while. So I drove our dad's ute out there. So we loaded that, so we could load it up, take that, and then take the wood to the person's house who delivered wood. Wow, why am I struggling with this with words? I don't know. So we took, anyway, so we're looking at my brother's house. He obviously wants to get his vehicle fixed, so he had it in his yard, and we were like, right, well, we're going to tow start it. So there's no hills really around where he lives, so we couldn't roll start the vehicle, so we tow started it. So we hooked it up to the back of our dad's ute, got out on the road. Now, he lives in a country area, so the road's not really that busy. It's not like suburbia where there are pedestrians and children and whatever around. So we got out on the road, put the dad's ute in 4-wheel drive, started. Now, I'll tell you what, he needs to get some new tyres. He's going to get some new tyres for winter anyway, but she's got the absolute POV pack bog standard highway tyres on it, which are not much chop at all. So it was doing a little bit of spinning. Anyway, we got going. And now, I don't know if you've ever roll started a vehicle before, but what you do, or this is at least how I was taught to do it by my instructor, is you put your car in second gear. Now, this is if it's a manual, because you can't roll start an automatic. You can't really do it. I'm not sure how. I mean, there might be a way you can do it, but I can't really think how you could roll start an auto. Anyway, but this is how you roll start a manual, at least how I was taught. So you put it in about second gear. You turn the key onto accessories. So, you turn your key on, it's like one click, and that gives you power, so your radio and whatever might come on, and then you turn it again to turn the car on or to start your engine. So you just go the first click. And then you get a good roll up. So you have to have your foot on the clutch, obviously, so the vehicle will roll. Once you get a good roll up, you dump it, foot off the clutch, and then that will jerk the car into starting, because obviously the wheels, I don't know, I mean, you get off the clutch, I suppose the wheels are turning, and they sort of then do a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a jerk, and then that spins the engine and starts it. So, but of course, if you're pushing a car, and when you get off the clutch, because you're in gear, and nothing else is moving, it will, there's a bit of compression, and it'll jerk, and if you're pushing a car, it'll stop rolling, obviously. So, of course, same aspect applies. I was pulling the ute down the road. Obviously, brother's off the clutch, and because everything sort of stopped, and all of a sudden I was towing something that was moving freely to something that wasn't. There was a few jerks going on, and I'd tell you what, I thought we might have ripped the rear end out of the dad's ute, but we didn't. We got my brother's ute. He got it started. We unhooked it, and then I'm not sure it died or he stalled it, and it wouldn't start again. So we had to tow it again, and we got it going. And after we got the ute started, there was a little bit of a conference. We had a little bit of a think about, well, where can he park it where there's a little bit of a hill so we can roll start the vehicle, because where he lives, no hills. He's a farmer, and so on his farm, no hills, pretty flat. So we had to have a little bit of a think about where can we park it. Anyway, but what we did, the chain that, well, he went and parked the vehicle on a bit of a hill, but the chain, we had it hooked up on the back of, it was hooked with a hook on his car, but on the back of the ute that I was driving, it was connected on with a shackle, like a D-shackle. Typical as to what you would use to hook up a car a trailer chain to your vehicle. Anyway, the shackle was bent as a result, and we had to get lucky there was some tools in the car, so we could get a a pair of pliers on there, and we could then untwist the pin and get the chain off, because the pin in the shackle was bent, and we couldn't undo it with our hands. We had to get some tools onto it, but well, then we went and loaded up the wood and went and delivered it. So there you go. So we went from come out, got to deliver this wood, into, while you're here, we'll get the car, this ute started, we'll have to tow start it, so then I can get it fixed. Anyway, so the next day, he went and got some couple of bits that he needed for it, and went and saw somebody, an old-time friend of ours who's a mechanic, and got it fixed. and she's driving, running. He was here the other day, yesterday with it. So yesterday being Tuesday. So yeah. Anyway, a little bit of a interesting. Could have ended up doing some pulling parts off vehicles, but anyway, it didn't. It all worked out. Anyway, now a hot political take's coming up. So if you don't want to hear this hot political take, skip to the end of the podcast. Welcome back. Now, let me tell you, I have remained pretty safe from the virus, okay, because I've been injecting disinfectant, because that's what Trumpy said to do. What a fool. Serious, my hot political... I'm just going to go on a bit of a Trumpy rant. I mean, what an absolute goon. And now he's like, oh, well, the COVID briefings aren't worth doing. They're pointless. Because he is incapable of saying, I said something I shouldn't have. I made a mistake. He's absolutely incapable of taking a bit of personal responsibility for anything. For anything. He's completely, incapable of doing it. And obviously he doesn't know how disinfectant works, because, if you inject that into your body, you're probably going to die. Does he want more people to die? I'm convinced, I don't know, he probably does, because he doesn't care about anybody except himself and his toupee. Like, that's it. But, I believe a journalist got onto him and he was quizzed about these comments about disinfectant, and because he obviously doesn't know the concept of a press conference, because how that works, or how a briefing works, or a presser works, is you're the person, you make your statement, you take questions. And they're going to be questions that you don't like. They're going to be questions that maybe you can't even answer. But he obviously can't get that through his thick head, his old brick head. So he was called out on it and cracked it because he's a child. So anyway, and now he's like, oh, the conferences are pointless, and he's like, oh, it's the China virus, it's all their fault, blah, 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 because once again, he is completely incapable of taking responsibility for anything. He can't say, it's not that hard to say, I said something, I've made a comment about this, probably shouldn't have done it. It's not that hard, but it obviously is for him. What a clown. Anyway, look, we'll move on from that. So, look, I hope everybody out there, of course, is doing okay. Hope everybody's all right. Of course, some places in the world have been hit a bit harder than other places, and everybody just needs to calm down, take a breath, and sort of think. Say, if you can do your job at your house, work from home, do it. And if you need to go out, think about why. So if you have to go to the supermarket, think about, do I need to go now? If I go today, does that mean I also have to go in another day's time? Or will there be a situation where we have to go in another day's time? Well, maybe instead of going now and waiting a day and then having to go back, just wait it out and then go one day and do like a big shop. Or you just need to just have a little bit of some clear thought about, do I need to go to this place? Can I wait to go to this place? You're like, oh, well, I want to go and see a movie, right? Well, you can't go and see them anyway, but you just have to sort of think, do I need to do this? Do I need to leave my house for this particular reason or whatever? And of course, people shouldn't be... I find it ridiculous people are being told to wash their hands. That's so dumb to me. But, of course, keep yourself cleansed. It's pretty simple stuff. It's pretty simple. And keep calm and carry on, and it's going to be okay, everybody. It's going to be okay. There's going to be in tricky times, but it's not going to be tricky forever. It might be... we don't know how long it's going to be tricky for, but it's not going to be forever. I can almost guarantee you that. Well, everybody, that is it for this episode of the podcast. Look, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a review on iTunes or whatever. Share it with a friend. Please share it with a friend, actually, because I want to get more listeners. You can send me an email, luke@who'stalkingpod@gmail.com. Send me a tweet, L_who'stalking. Of course, we're on Facebook. Not much happens on the Facebook page, if I'm honest, because I don't really use Facebook that much anymore. My usage of Facebook has changed actually quite dramatically over the last couple of years or so. Anyway, so of course, be safe. Got feedback, send it to me. You want to say hi, send me a tweet, email, whatever. If you know me on the street, be like, eh. And also, I've got something exciting. I'm excited for episode 50, which is the next episode. So I've got 2 people I've reached out to to help me with what's going to happen or what my plan is on episode 50. So I'm going to get back in touch with them and hound them like a dog so we can get episode 50 to happen. Or at least my plan, like episode 50 is going to happen, but my plan for episode 50 to happen. Anyway, look, stay safe, all that jazz, and I'll catch you next time.